Hello everyone and welcome to the 6:15 edition of the Primetime Newscast in the English language and Canal the International. I'm called Maureen. We'll begin with our top stories. School principal stabbed by his student at the Corbison neighborhood in Yaoundé has come out of danger and is responding to treatment at the hospital. And thousands of commercial bike riders went on rampage this morning in Douala over words they have described as persistent harassment from council officials. And more cholera cases have been registered in the southwest region of Cameroon. 3,568 cholera cases with over 71 deaths already started so far. At the same time, an enlarged vaccination campaign against cholera begins throughout the national territory. That is tomorrow. And after 2 years of break caused by COVID-19, Cameroonians can once more celebrate National Day, a celebration but without any traditional day reception at the Unity Palace as has been in the past. Those were major stories. Details right ahead. Good evening once more. The principal stabbed by his student at the Corbison neighborhood in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, has come out of danger and is responding to treatments at the hospital. Various authorities have been at the scene of the barbaric incident this Tuesday to understand the circumstances. This Thursday, rather, to understand the circumstances of the behind the act. More on the story with our reporter, Hyson Cha.
He is very much alive and out of danger. Michel Tesson stabbed by his own student here at the Yona School Complex, Corbison, Yaoundé. This is the pullover behind the barbaric action confiscated from the student in question on Monday, April 4th, for reasons of non-conformity with the school uniform. And after 2 days of attempts to retrieve it, to no avail, the 19-year-old student came on the third day, stormed the principal's office with a knife, stabbing him several times. An incident that caused total fear and panic in the school and the entire neighborhood.
Il ressort avec le couteau ensanglanté. Il nous croise donc, on vient aussi après lui. Il nous dit c'est lui qui tape. Et puis avec pris de peur, on a écarté parce qu'il était vraiment très bien.
Visiting the scene of the unfortunate situation this Thursday morning, Minister Nalova Lyonga of Secondary Education decries the poor conditions of the school harboring over 750 students.
You cannot take Cameroonian children and put them in this kind of condition. It's bad. It's not acceptable. There's no time when the Ministry of Secondary Education has told you to build us a school. We tell you to build a school.
The classmates this day in low morals, expressing surprises over the mouth-watering act.
Ne cherchez pas les problèmes aux gens. On se tutoie quoi, mais on n'a jamais provoqué un truc comme bagarre en classe. Cela ne s'est jamais produit en établissement.
And this, the tall wall, where the actor jumped out from the school after the incident, disappearing into the quarters, but was nabbed few minutes after, thanks to the efforts of bike riders. The culprit remains in custody at the Corbison Gendarmerie Brigade.
And the school has now become a veritable environment for the propagation of all sorts of violence. A month cannot go by without us registering a case of fighting, attack, stabbing of teachers. A case is there at the Yona School Complex of Corbison in Yaoundé, where the school principal was stabbed by a student. As so long list of violence are constantly recorded in the school, within the school milieu. More on the story.
Corbison neighborhood in the Yaoundé 7th district, again in the limelight, April receive 2022, as a lower seat student stabbed the principal of the Yeno school complex, who luckily is reported to be responding to treatment at the Yaoundé Central Hospital. This after the January 14th, 2020 murder of the young mathematics teacher Njomi Chakunte, stabbed by his Form 5 students at GBHS Gorbison using his compass. He later died in hospital. A sort of horror film whose narration leaves no one indifferent to the very sad and painful end.
Pourtant, le professeur avait demandé de ne plus faire ses cours. Le professeur a mis Bissé à la porte et Bissé est sorti. Maintenant, qui quitte devant la porte, puis maintenant qui est devant la porte, et quand il est comme ça, après maintenant, il est remonté, après le professeur l'a poussé. Après lui, ici, il a poussé le professeur. Le professeur l'a giflé avec le compas. Et maintenant, le professeur l'a encore poussé. Après ça, maintenant, rendu le professeur. Il a poussé le professeur au mur. Il a poigné le professeur 2 fois.
In Douala, precisely at GBHS Deido, on the 29th of March 2019, a student, Chanu Osmanu Blerius, was fatally stabbed by his friend who wanted to snatch his cell phone. And while many were trying to understand why such hateful acts, especially among students, months later, at Bepanda, still in Douala, another death, 2nd February this year, that of 14-year-old young Brian Fejo, student of Nanfa Institute, stabbed to death by a friend after card game went sour. Knives and other sharp weapons find their way fraudulently into places and classrooms. And the feedback, the stories circulating, especially on the social media, students in uniform fighting and injuring themselves. Recent video of the situation at Lycée Leclerc in Yaoundé, students fighting among themselves last January. And just last month, March the 28th, at GBHS Coleton in Yaoundé, a female student fought with a discipline mistress.
And thousands of commercial bike riders went on rampage this morning in Cameroon's economic city Douala on what they have described as constant harassment from council officials. The bike riders took to the streets after some of their colleagues were brutally intercepted by men who passed for council officials. The more than 200 commercial bike riders blocked the streets of Douala before they were dispersed by security officers. More in the following story. It is a tense Thursday as a cross-section of commercial bike riders in the economic capital, Douala, are angry over constant harassment by council officials. Thousands of them stormed the streets of Accra this Thursday morning. To make their voices heard, they paraded the streets of Accra without the identification jackets right up to Southfed Accra. Here they blocked the main way that links major neighborhoods. The bike riders are equally disgruntled with presidents of the trade unions and associations, which they see are not protective enough, but rather extorts them from huge amounts of money, thus complicating their job as bike riders. Some of the bike riders disclose to us they pay 100, 250 francs and even 1,000 francs CFA as ticket money to different syndicates, money which has not been justified. When we integrated the trade union, we had hopes all our problems will be solved. Little did we know we will be extorted by the same presidents of the trade union. Each day we pay 100, 250, 500, 1,000 francs, depending on the camp you belong. The day you forget your documents or identification jackets, your bike is seized and you are asked to pay 25,000 francs CFA. We are denouncing constant harassment from council officials and presidents of trade unions. We are tired of paying sums of money they can't justify. It's better we work with the council and end every deal with our unions. Sometimes you are harassed by someone who is not even a council official. He presents a document which is fake. He is a civilian, but arresting a bike rider and asking him to present his ID card. We are against all this. As tension kept mounting, security officers quickly invaded the area with water cannons. Many persons were hurt as they scamper for safety. Scores of bike riders were arrested and their bikes impounded. The bike riders have vowed to push on with their profession, but without assistance from their trade unions. More cholera cases have been registered in the southwest region of Cameroon. Now we have 3,568 new positive cases and 71 deaths since the outbreak of the cholera epidemic in Bakassi, Ekondotiti, Idinau, Tiko, Boya, Bonge, Health districts. A situation blames on the non-respect of basic hygiene rules and water scarcity. Ines Ondwambala completes that story.
The cholera outbreak was declared in the Bakassi and Ekondotiti Health districts of the southwest region in November 2021, 6 months after the epidemic has affected the Idinau, Tiko, Boya and Limbe Health districts. Today, 3,568 cholera cases have been recorded with over 71 deaths.
You want to see, as of now, we are experiencing an cumulative number of about 3,200 cases, with cumulative deaths of about 65, 67 as of now.
Health officials in the southwest region have been expressing challenges faced in managing cholera cases as hospitals are jammed to capacity. Southwest inhabitants worry about the cholera situation, continue to expect the cholera vaccine, which campaign has been slated for April 8, 2022. But one thing is sure, the poor hygienic condition plus the lack of potable water are the major causes of the rapid spread of cholera.
Shit. Everybody they can't hide shit. About this place where they can't hide shit for night, for daytime. If they shit for there for night, shit we want to go on our town.
We are just begging that we should carry up our hygiene both in our houses and outside. We should practice regular hand washing. We should wash fruits. We should cook food well before eating. We should treat our water before drinking.
Local authorities in the southwest region have been assisting cholera patients in various treatment units across the southwest region. Mattresses, hygiene kits, amongst others, are being put at the disposal of cholera patients.
And we now take you to the American School of Douala to discover the works of the students as they demonstrated a survey during the STEAM Expo 2022, that is Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts and Mathematics. Kejan Henry Atembe was there.
The American School of Douala has for the umpteenth time organized its Open Door Day on STEAM Education, dubbed STEAM Expo 2022. The major twist at the 2022 edition is the introduction of new areas of studies like aquaponics and advanced robotic sciences.
Robotics involves a couple of grades. Like the guys around me, you have grade 6, and we have the guy presenting is in grade 11, and the other way for 3D design, grade 9. Programming has to do with basic critical thinking in order to solve basic problems, especially in the society.
When these catfishes were smaller, these grains were a lot smaller too. But the reason why we feed them two different things is because these fishes have a different different diet basically. If they were to eat these food, it would go into their system and it would just come out, but it would not, no nutrition would be absorbed by them or nothing. So it basically will kill them.
We have 15 grams of food for the tilapia fish, which is different from the catfish. It's a different type of food. It's more of a powder. It's very small.
From grade 1 to 12, the children marveled the STEAM Expo 2022 attendees and parents on their research as they curiously jarred on how the future inventors displayed their survey on new discoveries.
What I found interesting in Sweet Home 3D was that, well, you don't need to be experienced. You don't need to be a designer. You don't need to be an architect to use Sweet Home 3D. All you need is just to have a visual idea that in your head that, okay, this is my room, this is my project, this is how I want it to look like.
In fact, I was really impressed by the fact that we can feed our own fish, we can feed it and eat. We no longer need to go at the market and maybe buy fishes which are not, bow. So thanks to Michael for this initiative. I think that we need to learn about it and then try to copy so that each Cameroonian can have his own fishery at home.
The ideal of the American school dweller is to train children to think out of classroom.
Sure. So this is a brand new project, actually. We started in September of this year. It was led by a group of our 11th and 12th grade environmental science students. You know, initially we just started with growing lettuce and farming catfish, and now we've expanded it to grow a number of different vegetables, tomatoes, mint, basil, green beans, spinach, and we've also added 300 tilapia as well. So with this project in specific, really what we're looking at is for this project to be able to teach students through hands-on learning how to develop a project. So the students conceptualized this from the beginning. They made a business plan, they made a marketing plan, they worked out the engineering, the biology, and they proposed it to our school board to get funding to start this project.
Problem solving requires experienced hands to coach the students in their various fields.
We don't just teach students theory and fill their brains with information, but we try to integrate skills from arts, from technology, from engineering, computer, and try to help them use models to understand how the real life works, how things can be used and produced. If you look at most of the projects that we have designed for this event, they are actually projects that students can graduate from this school and take it on a big scale and produce things that people can use to impact the community.
The level of curiosity and engagement sparks the creative side of the students of the American School of Douala.
Thanks for watching this edition of the Primetime Newscast on Canal International. We have news in the French language coming up at exactly 7:50 with Alain Gisler Kanga. We equally have the brief with Lil Peugeot, so we'll be back same time tomorrow. Good night.